Hello everyone and welcome again to Shoshi's Crafts. Today I thought I'd show you some of the fun bits and pieces I've got. I had a birthday recently and I had some money from my mum and dad and I thought I'd treat myself to some new crafting things. I've got this score pal. There are plenty of YouTube videos and websites and all sorts of things telling you how to use all these things, but I just thought I'd run through one or two things which I found really good about this. This is the actual score pal board, and it's got this really nice little bone folder that clips in there, which is so nice because then you don't lose it. It has all these grooves. You put your card in and you just go like that and you've got your scored line. And I got that on eBay, and then I got this mat separately, but it goes with the score pal. It's made to go in there, and it's exactly 12 inches square, so it's absolutely flush along the bottom edge, like there, and it fits in exactly, which is very nice. And you can see it's marked off in inches right down to 1/8 of an inch, and it's got various different angle lines on there as well, so it's quite useful for doing all sorts of measuring. And if you turn it over, it's this nice smooth craft mat for working on. I don't think it's heat proof. I haven't tried that. I wouldn't like to risk it. And for that, it's actually a kitchen mat, cutting mat made of glass, and you can see it's got this pattern in the middle of it, which I don't really need. But unlike a lot of the kitchen cutting mats, it hasn't got an embossed surface on it. It's absolutely smooth, which is quite nice, because if you do want to do things, you don't always want the pattern on it, and it's also easier to clean this as well. And I've used this quite a lot with my heat gun, which is this. I've had this for ages, and I've done quite a bit of different embossing and things with that, and it's very nice to do this on this surface. I don't tend to use this glass mat for cutting on, because I've found from experience, I've got one in the kitchen as well, that it really blunts your knives a lot, so I don't do that. But it's useful for other things. I've got some Tim Holtz things, and this is a Tim Holtz design ruler, whether you can see that. It's marked off in inches and 1/4 inches, and then 1/8. The dotted line in between is 1/8 of an inch. And one of the lovely things about it is that it doesn't have that stupid bit on the end that so many rulers have, which goes beyond the end with no measurement on it, and you don't really know how big that is. This is actually, that is the 0 mark right where the edge of the ruler is, so that up to the inch mark is exactly 1 inch. And I think that's quite nice, and it's the same at the 12-inch mark as well. So that's that side, and then if you turn it round, you've got the 0 in the middle, then it goes 1, 2, 3, etc., and then 1, 2, 3, etc. that way, so that you can actually centre things. If you put that in the centre, then you can use the measurements to measure out like that. The back end of it, whether this is showing up on the video or not, has got a metal edge embedded in it, and that's absolutely marvellous because you can cut on it, not on that side. We'll turn your score on that over for cutting. That's just a self-healing mat. So you can cut on that without damaging the ruler, because I don't know about you, but I've got so many rulers. I've got these ones. This is a pain because it's really hard to see the measurements on it, and it's not transparent, but it's nice for cutting on. This one is nice for measuring because you can see, but the other day I was too lazy to get the metal one out, and look what I did with it. Can you see that? Get that onto the camera. I've nicked it, and it's no good for ruling on anymore because there's this horrible rough bit. So these rulers are going out. Now I've got this, I don't really need anything else. And the other nice thing about this is on the other side, it's got these little holes all the way along there. It's got a sloping bit which is nice for measuring and for drawing against, and then just in from that there's these little holes, and you can use a paper piercer, and you can do it at 1/8 of an inch increments. So you can do them as far apart or as close together as you want, and you know that they're going to be regularly spaced. And the grid on it is really nice because you can get things straight as well, because it's at a right angle to the edge all the time. But what I've discovered about this, I absolutely love this. I think this is really good because it's exactly 12 inches long, and my score pal is exactly 12 inches long. And even with the mat in it, there is quite a big recess. Without the mat, when you put the mat in, there's still a little recess there. This ruler actually fits in there, and it's fixed. You can just pull it out really easily, but it just clips in there, and it's safe, and just like that. And I'm quite messy when I'm working. I tend to put things down and not be able to find them, and I should be able to find this. And it did occur to me, because of these holes, that you might be able to use this for drawing circles with. I haven't tried this yet, so I'll try it now. To draw circles of any size that perhaps are too big to use a compass to draw with. So I'll put that down for a minute. I've got my ordinary mat here, and I've also got this, which is a little mat I made ages ago, which has got a piece of hardboard with just a cork tile stuck onto it, and it's quite fine cork, and it's nice for pricking through onto that one. I have no idea whether this is going to work. I've got this rather nice little pin with a little glass one on the top. I can't get this in the camera. There we go. Stick that in like that. There we go. I wanted to make a 4-inch circle. I've got that in through into my little mat in the centre hole, and then I go into that 2-inch one there, and if I've got to try and hold this, I'll just see if this works and just go around. Is it working? It's got stuck. Oops, something's happened to my pencil. And it's not brilliant, but I think with a bit of work that could be made to work. I think this is probably not the right size. It's either much too big or too small. If you had a really big mat that you could actually stick something into without it doing any damage, that might work. But I just thought that was an idea anyway. Now, some of the other things that I've bought I'm going to be using in projects as I go ahead and try them all out. I've got this is a clear embossing powder. I haven't ever used this before. I've used gold quite a bit, and I've learnt that if you emboss with the Versamark ink pad, if you just rubber stamp with that and then you do it with this clear embossing powder, and you can do lots of stamping and inking and all sorts of things on your project. I've heard that you can put a piece of scrap paper over the top when it's finished and iron it, and it will melt away the embossing and leave what you stamp just with the background colour of the paper. So it's a bit like the wax that you use in batik printing on fabric. So it acts as a resist, and I thought that would be really fun to try. I also got some, this is Perfect Pearls. That's also from the Tim Holtz range, made by Ranger. I've never used this before. This is a mica-based powder which has some sort of bonding agent in it, so that when you put water with it, it will actually stick on and it won't rub off.